On today's show, opening week is here. And we're going to be previewing the week in Clippers basketball. We're also going to be talking about the Clippers waiving Trentyn Flowers and the final chapter of the Mark Cuban Pablo Torre beef as they met on the podcast yet again. Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Opening Week Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for 6 and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can help us get to 8,000 subscribers before the season starts. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, so this week in Clipper basketball, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially back. After what's felt like the longest offseason of my life and the longest summer of my life, we are back here to talk Clippers basketball. Another 82-game campaign is on the horizon. To be exact, this is year number 42 in Los Angeles for your LA Clippers, of course, moving in 1984. So, yeah, year 42, big expectations. And I'll tell you what, this week, here's what we got. On Tuesday, it's opening night, and we're not involved. We get to kick back, relax, and watch the new coverage of the NBA on NBC. It's crazy there's no TNT opener for Tuesday night. That's going to be wild to see. You got OKC and the Houston Rockets. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Houston Rockets look. Of course, they don't have Fred VanVleet, who's going to be out for the season. So it'll be very interesting to see Kevin Durant in a Rockets uniform and how he looks. And of course, you know, you've got them playing against the Thunder, which is ring ceremony. And then the Lakers and the Warriors go at it at crypto.com arena, obviously our former home. So very, very interesting games there. They'll be without LeBron James in that one. And then Wednesday is the big shebang. That's when everyone plays. Like every single team plays. It's always that second day of the season. League Pass is in full effect. We're going to be playing against the Utah Jazz on the road. Now, there is a viewing party at the Intuit Dome for those that want to go. I cannot attend because I have a men's league game, and my team is very reliant on me to handle the ball, so I need to be there. And plus, I mean, just being honest with my audience, I love the Clippers with all my heart and soul, but when I have a chance to play basketball in an organized fashion, I'm never going to pass that up. So I'll watch the game after, and then we'll do I don't know about a live that night. I feel like I got to go live, though, right? It's the first Clipper game of the season on Dime Dropper, but for sure you're going to get a Locked On in the morning on Thursday. And then on Thursday, obviously, we're not playing. There's an event, though, a swell event for those that are in the swell on Thursday, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I have club practice, and we have a tournament on the weekend, so we're not skipping steps. I'm not going to miss a tournament prep practice. And then on Friday is the big one. The opener at Intuit, although unfortunately it's going to be game 1 of the World Series too. So God damn it, I just don't know. I'm going to be there because it's opening night. Cannot miss opening night, even if it is the World Series. So I guess I'll just have to listen to the World Series like in the car because our game on Friday, that's a 7 o'clock or 7:30 local start. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 7:30 against the Phoenix Buns. So you know, the World Series game will be almost done by the time the Clipper game starts, but I'll be there very early. Maybe I'll even be going to Cork and Batter to watch some of the Dodger game, and then I'm going to get tons of pregame interviews. Definitely catch me after the game by the bridge in the normal spot for post-game interviews. And that'll be the first video for me for the vlogs. And we're going to be super excited to see our second straight home opener against the Phoenix Suns at Intuit. And then we've got Saturday, we're off. And then Sunday, we're back at it against the Portland Trailblazers at Intuit Dome. If the tournament that I'm coaching finishes in time, I should be able to be there as well. So what a week. And in my opinion, it should be 3 wins. I'm not even going to mince words. Utah's got to be a win. And the thing is, opening night at Utah, it could be a little tricky. They're a very, very loud fan base. They have a great crowd. And it's just a tough place to play. There's that altitude element of it. But we got to come out and smack them in the face. The Utah Jazz are by far the worst team in the Western Conference, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think they're by far the worst team. We got to make a statement. It doesn't mean we need to win by 20. Just get a win. And then we play Phoenix. We lost to them all 4 times last season. We got to beat them. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We got to beat them, especially because we lost that home opener last year in overtime, and that hurt. You know, it was an epic game. First game at Intuit. Incredible video that I did with a bunch of fans. But we need to win this game. We need to beat Phoenix. They don't have Kevin Durant anymore. They don't have Bradley Beal anymore. He'll be on our side. And he played well in that game, Bradley Beal. And then Portland. Portland is going to be trickier. They have a very solid defense. They just re-signed Tamani Kamara and Shadon Sharp. But we need to beat them as well. As I said, and James Harden even talked about it, we were gifted a very, very generous schedule, and we got to come out of the gate swinging, especially with Kawhi Leonard being healthy to start a season. I mean, we have to hit the ground running because there is a very specific goal in mind, and that is to get a top 3 seed. Now, I don't know if that's being said in the locker room, but I always say we got to get a top 3 seed if we want to be a serious contender to win it all. If we want to just be a contender to do good things, yeah, finish 4th or 5th, no big deal. Nah, we got to be top 3 if we want to be a serious contender with an actual chance of winning a title. So that's the week ahead. It's been a long off season. I literally have lived in like 3 different places since the end of the regular season. It's felt like the longest wait before a season ever in my life. And it's interesting because like nowadays I do really cherish the off season because it gives me time to relax. And you know, during the season, it's very hectic, but I've almost had this feeling over the last couple of months, not that I'm bored. I'm still very busy with my club team and all that stuff, but I really want to, like, I miss the content. Like, I miss all of you. I miss seeing everybody at the games. I miss that camaraderie aspect, that community aspect of Clipper Nation. I feel like I've really needed it in this time, you know, with so many moving parts of my life and so many of my friends, you know, also losing their homes and just kind of their families relocating and all that. Feel like that company, that the kind of the bonds that we've built within the Swell, the Wall, and just the Clipper fan base in general, that really is a niche fan base. I really miss that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody this week. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Friday, to be specific, and of course, hopefully Sunday. Then after the World Series ends, I'll be because any other games that happen during the World Series, I'm probably not going to go to a Clipper game because it's the World Series. You know, it's you just don't know how many you're going to get in your life. But after that, I'll be all Clipper. So coming up, going to be speaking about the waiving of Trentyn Flowers. What do we think about that? Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. My roommate actually has a Peloton right outside on our balcony and uses it to get some cardio in. I actually haven't used it yet, but I'll tell you what, the personalized class recommendations keep him engaged. He gets workouts that are like tailored to his vibe and what he wants and his energy level every week. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. I got to tell you a little something about Monarch. Let's be honest. Most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. For me, when I had all these moves that I referenced, I lost track of what I was paying for. So Monarch actually helped me organize those finances and stop paying for certain things. So I've actually been seeing a lot more money in my account every month. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right, Clipper Nation, we are finally in opening week territory. But before I talk about that, I wanted to talk about Trentyn Flowers. Trentyn Flowers was on a two-way deal and was waived by the Clippers and picked up by the Chicago Bulls 3 days ago. I'm not going to lie, I'm not really happy with that. I saw a lot of potential in Trentyn Flowers as a 6'9" athlete with I don't know what it was, like a 40-inch vertical or something. He showed the ability to not only shoot a solid percentage from three last year in the G League with 37%, but he showed the ability to be a good cutter because he's so explosive and athletic. If you have him on a running start, he's going to take off and he's going above the rim. And somebody that has that kind of athleticism, that kind of size, those kind of measurables, I don't think you just throw him away, especially when he can make the three ball. You know, instead of Trentyn Flowers, the Clippers have gone with Jamil Telford from Canada, 24 years old, from Butler. He's 6'7", and I don't know. I don't see much there. He scored 9 points in the Golden State game, but I don't see something that shows me that he's better than Trentyn Flowers. Clipper Nation, am I missing something with Jamil Telford? If you think that he's better than Trentyn Flowers, there are things that he's, superior to Trent in, please comment what you see, because I really like Trentyn Flowers. And it's not just because, I got to, be part of media availability with him in Summer League and all that, but the guy is so explosive. Like somebody with, I said it already, but someone with that kind of athleticism that can take off and play above the rim like that, who can cut baseline and get lobs from James Harden or Chris Paul. Now, of course, he's not going to be playing with them this season much. He was never going to be a rotation player, but just somebody that has the ability to catch lobs from whoever it may be and be a good transition player and also shoot 37% from three. I don't get it. He led the San Diego Clippers in points last season and was second in threes made. I don't know. I really am dumbfounded by this decision. Jamil Telford, I just haven't seen anything that makes me say that he's better than Trentyn Flowers. So I wish Trentyn Flowers the best in Chicago wholeheartedly. But I'm disappointed that the Clippers didn't hold on to him. So as of now, if you're wondering what the situation is with our two-way contracts, it's Jordan Miller, Jamil Telford, and Kobe Sanders. And the way Kobe Sanders played in preseason, I mean, man, hold on to that guy, please. But yeah, I'm overall just a little disappointed. I thought that Trentyn Flowers definitely had a future in the NBA and on our team. And it turns out that they didn't feel like that was the case. And I'd love to know why. Maybe they thought he didn't have enough skill outside of his athleticism, that he was just kind of an athlete on its own, and that's it. That's the only component he had to his game. But he shot 37% from three in the G League. Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I truly don't get it. But as far as like our team this season, it's not really going to matter because we have an older team that these young guys aren't really going to get to play and like not going to really get to play rotation minutes. So, it's kind of irrelevant either way. But anyway, as far as the young players, I think the best one is probably Yannick, as I mentioned in the last episode. I think he's really shown some more that we realized that he had in his toolkit. You know, his ability to handle the ball, his ability to shoot threes, even though he didn't make any, but the form. I think his mechanics look really good that I can tell he makes them. And he's going to make them. It's just a matter of time. Those G League games are going to be interesting to see what he can bring. Then his rim protection, his raw athleticism, and his ability that he showed a little bit of to make reads out of the rolls. So that's the scoop with Trentyn Flowers. Unfortunately, he's no longer part of the Clippers organization, and he is now with the Chicago Bulls. But hey, class act, really nice kid. And I enjoyed, covering him for the time that I got to cover him. And, I didn't necessarily speak to him directly, but in that media availability, seemed like he had a great head on his shoulders and was confident and, what kind of player he could be. And talked about his measurables, his athleticism, and what that brings to the table. So Trentyn Flowers, I'm just going to look up his vertical real quick because I want to get that number. I mean, this guy can fly. Okay, had a 42-inch max vertical jump, which was the highest at the 2024 NBA Draft Combine. Man. And you know what the thing is, though? Good for Trentyn Flowers because given Chicago being a younger team, they're kind of building around Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and Matas Buzelis. He might get a chance in some games to actually play some extended minutes. So it's a good move for him at the end of the day. There's no young players that are going to break into the Clippers' 11-man rotation this season. It's just not going to happen. And there was some talk about the 11-man rotation, which I'll be covering in another episode this week. But yeah, I've been talking about how I wanted to do something about this Trentyn Flowers move because I felt it was relevant to talk about. But yeah, that's the takeaway, is that I disagree with the decision. I just don't understand why Jamil Telford over Trentyn Flowers. Obviously, there's more to it. I would love to know why that happened. If you guys have any theories or any observations of your own, please comment below why Jamil Telford over Trentyn Flowers. But coming up, Mark Cuban finally went on Pablo Torre's show again. I'm going to be talking about the final chapter of the Aspiration saga leading into the season. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And right now, with the NFL, we are about to finish week number 7. And the Buffalo Bills, last I checked, were still the favorites to win the Super Bowl. But as I'm speaking right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is currently unavailable. But by the time this episode is done and you're listening to it, it probably will be back available. So go check out the odds for opening night. The Clippers, last I checked, were top 5 at NBA title odds because I think people are starting to be impressed from the preseason performances. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in lines, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team and see them play in person. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Before I got a swell pass last year, I used Game Time for NLCS Game 1 and opening night against the Suns. And it actually did give me a price that was lower than a lot of resellers were selling them the tickets for. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA WNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right. So, at long last, we have reached the final portion of the Aspiration saga for now. And that is that Mark Cuban, who's been defending us like a defense attorney, officially rejoined Pablo Torre on his podcast to essentially debate every single point that they've made on Twitter. It was essentially rehashing every single thing that I had reported on this show about what Mark Cuban was saying in defense, all of Pablo Torre's follow-up episodes, and all that stuff. It was kind of just them addressing all these points in person. And like the summary is this: Pablo Torre has come out and said, look at this $48 million deal or $28 million deal plus $20 million in stock that Kawhi Leonard was promised by the CEO, Joe Sandberg, for this fake tree planting company known as Aspiration that people thought was real. Or it was real, but people thought it was legit. And Kawhi Leonard Kawhi Leonard got paid and didn't do anything, right? It was a no-show deal. Why would a company pay Kawhi Leonard all that money to have them as a sponsor, as a partner, and not have him do anything at all, right? That's his whole point. And then he talked to some people in the finance department, and they said it was to circumvent the salary cap. So essentially paying Kawhi Leonard under the table. Then he found articles, or there were articles about what Uncle Dennis, Kawhi's manager, was requesting of the Toronto Raptors when they were doing the negotiations in 2019. And part of the information that was reported that he requested was that he wanted no-show sponsorships. So essentially sponsorships where he didn't have to do much work for or any work for, and ownership of, I think it was the Toronto Blue Jays at the time, or the Maple Leafs. I think it was the Maple Leafs, and part ownership of the team, a private jet, all these extra amenities that the Raptors and the Lakers apparently didn't grant him, and the Clippers allegedly did grant him. And then what made things more curious was when everybody, there was public information that Aspiration was kind of in a tough financial spot, that they might be going down the drain. And Steve Ballmer continued to invest all the way up until March of 2023. And then in late 2022, when Aspiration was late on a Kawhi Leonard payment, a 1% minority owner of the Clippers, Dennis Wong, one of Steve Ballmer's friends and old college roommates, invested almost the exact same amount of money that Kawhi Leonard was owed around that time, and Kawhi got paid 9 days later, in which Pablo Torre is saying that that is clear circumvention of the salary cap. Why is Dennis Wong investing at this time when it's already public that the company is a little suspect? But again, we don't know if Steve Ballmer knew that, right? But again, this is kind of questioning Ballmer's intelligence a little bit, because he would keep investing in this fraudulent company. So Mark Cuban's whole thing is he doesn't believe Pablo's sources in the accounts payable department, whoever he's having come up and talk. He's like, they're clueless about Sandberg's motives. All that they know is that it's fish. It's weird. It's strange. But Mark Cuban keeps saying, Joe Sandberg is weird. So of course it's weird. Of course it doesn't make sense because he's a scammer. So that's kind of his take. And Cuban also claimed that the $20 million in stock that Kawhi was promised, Joe Sandberg knows there's nothing there. He's just promising Kawhi like fake money that doesn't exist, is kind of Cuban's point. And he also keeps saying that Pablo is only showing 2 payments, that Kawhi Leonard was owed 16 different payments that would have added up to about $21 million, which would leave the $7 million in outstanding debt that was listed on that paper, that he was still owed $7 million, but he's only showing 2 payments, Pablo Torre. So Mark Cuban's like, where do those other payments come from? Why is there no information that's being shown on those? No receipts, essentially. So those are all their points, right? It's just a back and forth. And I can't lie, when you look at the comment section of Pablo Torre's episode with Mark Cuban, it's obviously all people that are on Pablo's side. And they're saying like, Mark Cuban is showing why billionaires aren't that smart. Mark Cuban's in complete denial. He keeps discounting Pablo's actual facts, but just speculation of his own. He keeps calling Pablo speculation, and then he's just correlating things to make a story. And But I will give Mark Cuban this. He has a rebuttal for everything. And because he's such a good talker and is so, business savvy, it feels like he's right about things. And also, as a Clipper fan, you want him to be right about things. But I don't know. Here's the reality. This is on hold. There's an ongoing investigation. Kawhi Leonard is fully healthy. He's going to play on opening night on Wednesday at Utah. So the conversation is going to start shifting from Kawhi Leonard's allegations, or the allegations against Kawhi and the Clippers with Aspiration, to, oh, damn, Kawhi Leonard's still playing basketball and he's healthy. Why are we not talking about this more? Some people have started to talk about the Clippers, about, oh, if they're healthy, they can be really good. They went out and got Chris Paul. They went out and got Brook Lopez. They went out and got John Collins and Bradley Beal. This is an improved team from last year. Kawhi Leonard's healthy. But the casuals are discounting us. They're not even thinking about the fact that Kawhi's healthy. They're not even thinking about the fact that we won 50 games last year with our star player missing 45 of them out of 82. And again, this aspiration thing has really distracted people from the fact that he is healthy and he is looking good. So we're just going to let them talk. I wonder how much it's going to be brought up by other teams' broadcasters during the season. I don't think Brian Seaman and those guys are going to say anything about it because the Clippers want to keep it under wraps as much as possible. But I promise it will be alluded to by some opposing teams' commentators and maybe the national guys. So we'll have to see. But all I know is the league better be ready, because on Wednesday, all the aspiration stuff, all the talk about this no-show deal or whatever is going to be on hold. And basketball is going to be played. And the ball's going to have to be checked. And the ball's going to have to be tipped. And are you going to be able to beat this Clipper team on a consistent basis, NBA? We shall see. So I got some stuff planned before the season starts. We still got until Wednesday. But I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm excited. It's always a pleasure to do this job. And, this is my 4th season for Locked On and my 6th with Dime Dropper. It's unbelievable that I've been doing it for 6 seasons. But I really appreciate all you guys that have been along the journey and continue to be a part of this journey. And it's really special. It really is. And I truly have not had as much fun rooting for the team as I did when I was a kid, because I've not been a huge fan of the direction of the franchise and how the 2-on-3 era has gone, or the Kawhi era has gone. But what I have appreciated more than anything is my connection with the fan base, the fact that I feel like I have friends everywhere I go in the arena. I can go to a game alone now, and I do go to games alone. I have 1 season ticket, and I'm never alone. I'm surrounded by people that I know, surrounded by people that I mess with, and that's an incredible feeling. So I'm excited to see all of you very shortly. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, NBA, and LA sports content. I went to a Chargers game on Sunday. If any of you guys are Chargers fans, I know definitely we have some in the Clipper fan base. Check out that vlog. I kind of captured the atmosphere of that game. I know the Colts beat them up, and they're a very good team right now, but just check it out. And, of course, the Dodger vlog I made with Shohei's big night did some numbers, so go check that out as well. And, of course, right here on Locked On Clippers, you need to keep subscribing. Let's get up to 8,000 subs before the season starts, although I don't think we're going to reach that mark. But let's at least get up to that mark before November. And, of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.